and when I try to post this on each and every social media accounts of mine, it's really not possible for me to actually go through that specific stream that I have created. So I'll still see that how it works out. But anyways, so yeah, let me just check whether if I am live on everywhere or not, because it's really important that you guys are actually watching. So let me just check. Okay, so it's live guys, on each and every platform that I can see right now. Yep. So let me just share this on my social media accounts. Okay. So how are you guys doing? I hope you guys are, everyone is doing great. And it's a 60-day reading challenge, guys, because I have updated it to 60-day reading challenge. Once I thought that I will be doing a 30-day reading challenge, but then I thought that no, let's just make it 60-day reading challenge. So I quite like this because honestly speaking, I thought that I will stop after 30 days. Then I thought no, I should extend this version out to the 60-day reading challenge. Okay, now I'm sharing this on my Facebook as well. This stream is live on my personal profile. I'm just sharing it on my Facebook group, not group, the page. So if you haven't liked my page on ImpleBooks on Facebook, I highly recommend you do that. Yeah, so it's done. Okay, great. Okay, anyways, we are live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Periscope. There we go. We are almost live on everywhere actually, guys. So yeah, let me start some music, and we are going to read the chapter 5 today, and I hope that I will be able to complete reading the chapter. And I'm yeah, yesterday chapter was really good. I hope you understood. I really like this, and yeah, let's go ahead and let's just start reading. And I had an amazing discussion because I have posted a nice informative carousel on my Instagram page. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend that you go ahead and check this out. And we had this nice conversation inside this inside this Instagram carousel with Arjun, reader Arjun. He's a very nice guy and an avid reader as well. So we had a nice discussion about this book and the mentality of this, how we should cope up with this, with things like positivity and not positivity, pleasure actually. So yeah, if you haven't followed me on Instagram, I highly recommend you do that. So let's just read the chapter 5 for today, guys, and I am quite excited that we are going to read this book, and the chapter is this one, right? So I hope that the screen is properly visible here, and yep, I guess everything is fine. Let me just check as a ritual that how many not how many pages I need to read today. So it's really important. Okay, not so much, guys, not so much. I have to read only excuse me. Okay. Yeah, I need to read only 24 pages or 23 pages, I would say, because these are half, 23 pages I need to read today. Not so much pages, so let's go ahead and just read fast, because I know I have wasted a lot of time, but I don't want to waste it anymore. So let's get started then. So here he talks about like the problem. Suppose somebody puts a gun on your head and say that you run a 20, you run 26.2 miles and you will get like $1 million, and and you run and you get the money, but still maybe then you did the same thing with your family cheering and you have practiced it for religiously for months, then you just did this, then what will be your feeling? So that he said that it's all about that how we choose the problem. So one, often the only difference between a problem and being painful or being powerful is the sense that we chose it and that we are responsible for it. So when we choose a problem, we feel responsible, or if someone forces this thing on us, we feel that okay, we are the victim here. So here he has written the same thing. When we feel that we are choosing our problems, we feel empowered. When we feel that our problems are being forced upon us against our will, we feel victimized and miserable, right? So when we see that okay, someone is actually putting pressure on us to do something, we feel that okay, we are the victim here. Okay, we don't have any life, we don't have anything. So we don't feel empowered. Instead we feel bad about this, that okay, somebody is telling us to do this kind of thing, do that kind of stuff. So it's really impact on us, right? Yeah. So I will be back in 2 minutes, guys. So yeah. So I'm back guys. Yeah. So I'm reading the story of William James. Anyways, yep. I don't get this thing much. It's focuses on the same thing, that we need to be kind of like proactive, I would say, because it doesn't really. It says this thing in a story, with a story backed up with a story, that whatever the situation is, it's all upon us, that how we react to it, right? So yeah, it's that classy thing again, that classy self-help way of saying this, but I don't get it. Anyways, we don't need this story so much here. Anyways, it was a good lesson, but yeah, it's the same uh, self-help thing. I hope you already know that. Yeah. So let me just tell you the story because the story is amazing. It's William James. So he was son of a big businessman. So his brother young was Henry James, and he became a world-renowned novelist as well. If you search Henry James, you can get his work also. And his sister was good with the writing as well, so she get away like with the writing stuff. But William James had a lot of problems, a lot of physical problems, I would say. So that he can't cope up and he can't go get out much, so he didn't have much friends also. But what really happens is, like, his father told him, you join the medical school, but he did not feel like he felt like an imposter there. And one day he wrote in his diary that he has more similarity with patients rather than doctor. So after that he also leave the medical school. Yeah, his father had, he had to go through his father's wrath, but he anyways leave the medical school. But after that he went on to an expedition, which was like he went into the kind of like Amazon jungle, and and he could not complete the expedition, and he had to face a lot of problems because he already has some health issues. And when he came back, he had to face his father again, and he thought that okay, he will take his life. But before taking his life, he did one thing. He was reading the lectures by the philosopher Charles Peirce. Yeah, okay. While reading that, he thought that okay, I will not take my life. In 1 year, I will take responsibility for each and everything I do. He wrote this thing in his diary, and he thought that okay, if I can't really take if 1 year if in 1 year nothing happens with my life, nothing special happens with my life, I will take my life, right? So that's what he thought. But the moment he take responsibility in 1 year, William James actually become the father of American psychology. So if you search Google, if you Google William James, you will surely find him. I actually did not know anything much about, because I was a newbie book reader at that time. I had no idea about this kind of thing. So I have searched his name. I had this, I felt like that I heard his name somewhere, but when I read the name William James, I actually searched for him, and I saw that a lot of works are there. He used to matter at that time when he was there, right? So yeah. So here he write that we don't always control what happens to us, but we always control how we interpret what happens to us, as well as how we respond. So the response is in our hand. It doesn't really matter that what is going on in our life, because we don't always control what happens to us. So there are obviously outside circumstances that is going to impact or hamper or maybe improve our life. That is not in our control, but the control, we always have the control of how we actually respond to it, right? To not give a fuck about anything is still to give a fuck about something, right? So so if you think that okay, I don't give a fuck about it, I'm still giving fuck to my ego, maybe, right? So suppose somebody came to me and said that okay, whatever you're doing is not going to work, okay, and I say to the people, I don't care what you think, right? I don't give a fuck about it. So when you say I don't give a fuck about anything, right? If I say this kind of thing, this does not mean that you don't give a fuck about anything. You give a fuck about your ego. You give a fuck about the thing that you're currently doing. Okay, you just don't give a fuck about what others are saying. That's the thing. Okay, if you're thinking that okay, giving a fuck about nothing is not. It's like okay, I don't give a fuck about anything. It's not like that. You always give a fuck about something. Even when you don't give a fuck about something, you are actually giving a fuck to something else. So that's the thing he's talking about. I'm using a lot of fucks here. Anyways, so yeah, I hope that YouTube will show this video on people's feed. Anyways, great. Here he talks about a very nice thing about responsibility and fault fallacy. So what is responsibility and what is fault? Our society, he's saying, and I agree with that. I need to say this while reading this book, because a lot of people don't agree with a lot of concepts in this book, because it totally bends the rule of self-help. And honestly speaking, I also don't agree with a lot of things, but I agree with some things, a lot of things as well. So it's like I don't know what's the percentage here, but I do agree with a lot of things, and some things I don't agree with also. I'm just saying this as well while I'm reading. But here is the thing: the fault and the responsibility is not the same thing, he's saying here. So what Mark Manson wanted to say is this one, that our society actually binds the responsibility with the fault. Okay, so if what is responsibility? If something good happens to you, you are responsible for it. Even if something bad happens because of you, or bad happens to you, that is also your responsibility. You are also responsible for that, right? So if you do something, that was you call it fault, that is, you are responsible for that as well, right? But here is the thing, with great power comes great responsibility. But he says that let's rephrase this, let's make it, with great responsibility comes great power, right? So the more we choose to accept responsibility in our lives, the more power we will exercise over our lives. Accepting responsibility for our problems is thus the first step to solving them, right? So the moment we accept the responsibility that okay, that is the things that are happening to me is because of me, then you have the chance to solve it, right? Otherwise people are not going to hear you and okay, you are having problem, let me just fix it for you. It's not going to happen to you. Suppose you're going through a problem, people are not going to fix these problems, right? You may beg people that okay, please solve this issue for me. They may do it, but it's not going to work out each and every problems of yours, because problems are inevitable and they're going to be a part of your life. Okay, and you can't really control this, you can't really control outside circumstances, but you can control whatever is in your hands. So you can control the problem only by yourself, right? So the moment you take responsibility, okay, that is the reason the problem that is happening to me is because of me. Okay, maybe it's something that is done by outsiders or outside circumstances, but if you take responsibility, then you have the chance to solve it, because the reason is that you take the responsibility. Now you are on the driver's seat, nobody else is, right? The moment you take the driver's seat, you have the chance to navigate your life to a different direction, right? Here is the thing he's trying to say. But there is some nice thing as well, which says that fault is past tense and responsibility is present tense, he's saying. Okay, see, he's saying that okay, if you're driving a car and you hit another person's car, you are responsible and for fault at the same times, right? You are at fault and you are also responsible at the same time, right? And he says that this should be the case as well. But he says that there is a problem as well, because people are actually binding this fault and responsibility in a single term, right? So but here's the thing, he's saying that fault is actually a past tense, responsibility is actually a present tense. Now fault, he's saying that fault is the same thing that he mentioned, like you're driving a car and you hit someone else's car, you are at fault and you are also at responsibility as well for that, because you need to take responsibility for everything that you have done, right? But now you're maybe you're sleeping in your apartment and somebody put your ring your calling bell and you just open the door and you see that there is a baby lying there, right? That's not your fault. That maybe that's not your baby, right? And I don't know. Maybe that's okay. Let's assume that it's not your baby, right? Then it's not your fault, right? But whatever you do with that baby, you just maybe you feed it to the bull, or maybe you keep it, maybe you give it to someone else, maybe you throw it out. Okay, yes, he used this kind of words, but it's true. These are the options, right? If you do this kind of things, it doesn't really matter. Even if you keep it, you are responsible for it, right? So next action for your next action, even though it's not even though it was not your fault, you are responsible for all the actions that you are going to take later, right? And I want to ask one thing in between. I know I may break the flow, but don't I don't want to break the flow, but still I'm going to ask this question, because just let me know what do you think about the lighting of today. I have changed a little bit of the lighting, I would say. So let me know in the comments whenever you're free. Okay, so you're saying that fault is a past tense, responsibility is a present tense, right? Faults results from choices that have already been made. So fault strictly happens whatever the choices that we actually made, right? So suppose I hit a person with a car. Maybe I hit a car with a car. Then it doesn't really matter. These are the faults. These are the things that I have already made, and this is called fault, right? Responsibility results from the choices you are currently making. So responsibility is all about that whatever I'm doing currently, whatever the choices that I'm making currently, that is responsible. Now I hit someone with a car. Okay, now my the responsibility comes when what I'm doing with that situation, with the mess that I have created, right? So that is called the responsibility, and that happens every second of every day, right? So I was late to wake up, so I woke up at like 6:23 a.m. My live stream was set up for like 6 a.m. So they could not let me stream on the YouTube, Facebook. So I had to go through a lot of steps to actually set this stream up for today. But usually I did. So that is the thing. I had to make choices. Okay, I could have made choice like, okay, I'm not going to live stream today. Maybe it was a sign from the God that I don't need to read today. Okay. Maybe I can take this responsibility this way, but I take responsibility. I would say, oh, I said that no, okay, let me just wait, let me just make good choices, let me just start, set these things, set this stream up in a different way, and let's just start streaming. So that's the thing I did, and yeah, and I'm streaming here. So I'm going to read one paragraph from this book. I really like this. So there is a difference between blaming someone else for your situation and that person's actually being responsible for your situation, right? So nobody else is ever responsible for your situation but you. Many people may be to blame for your unhappiness. You can blame people, but these are the people, they are not responsible for that, right? But nobody is ever responsible for your unhappiness but you. I agree with that. Even if you don't agree with it, I don't care. Seriously, because see, somebody may come to you and maybe they kill you, not kill you, maybe they cut your legs, cut your hands. You may blame them for the entire lifetime, but whatever happens to you next, it is your responsibility, it's not theirs, right? Yes, it was their fault that they did it. Okay, you can blame them your whole life, but if you don't take responsibility, you're going to die like this eventually. Yes, you can go ahead and take revenge from them, I don't care, but the thing is that what are you doing? You need to take the responsibility of yours, because responsibility is yours, not theirs. Okay, they did that job, they did what they had to do, right? But the responsibility is your unhappiness is, they are not responsible for your happiness or unhappiness. Whatever they wanted to do, they did it to you, right? So here's the thing, many people may be to blame for your unhappiness, but nobody is ever responsible for your unhappiness but you. This is because you always get to choose how you see things, right? How you react to things, how you value things. You always get to choose the metric by which to measure your experience. That's why I'm saying that do not read this book whenever your mind is like occupied with a lot of problems or a lot of negative thoughts or anything like that, because it's going to make you feel worthless, because you are going to see, okay, I don't need to react this way, I don't need to react that way. Why I'm reacting like this? Maybe I'm mad, maybe I'm going wrong, maybe something is wrong with me. There are a lot of other negative things will come when you're going to read this book, especially this book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. You need to read this book whenever your mind is totally fine and you are totally free and open to new perspective, because this happens in our life. Sometimes we read a book and we feel that, okay, I should not have choose the book. That happens maybe, but I think there is always a good time for a specific book in your life. So you should not, just take a book because it's in a hype. So I used to do that. Because when I first started reading, I had to choose book that was in hype, because maybe there will be something that will actually make me happy, because people are actually learning this. People are actually talking about this book. So I felt like, okay, I'm in a community and people actually used to welcome me. Okay, you were reading this book. Wow, that's so great. I used to enjoy that. And I think when you are getting started reading, I highly recommend that you choose the book that is easy and also in the hype, because you will feel like you are part of a community, and you will see this book a lot of uh, a lot of pictures of this book on your Instagram, and you will feel like, okay, and you can comment on these pictures as well, and people will be like, okay, wow, you know about this book. Anyways, that's good for starting, but after that you choose the book that is relevant to your life, that is relevant to your problem that you're facing in your life. That's really important, right? Okay, let me just read and come back to the point. You always get to choose the metric by which to measure your experience, right? So you actually decide the metric. You already know that how what we think about your life, it's totally depends on person to person. Okay, somebody may be living a lavish life, and you're seeing that and seeing that guy, okay, wow, he's living a very nice life, I wish I could live that. You're choosing your metrics to actually judge that guy, but that guy maybe is thinking that, okay, I need to increase my business, I'm competing with some other person or a business, I don't feel successful. That's their metric, right? So we judge people based on our metric, and we judge ourselves based on our values and metrics. So that is the metrics he's talking about, right? Anyways, let's just start reading. So he's the point of the story is like is the author's own story. His girlfriend cheated him with his teacher. So after 3 years, when he confronted her, she left him for his teacher, and he says that it felt like a 253 punches in the face. So after that he was started blaming her, and he said that maybe whatever he was feeling, whatever the bad he was feeling, uh, his girlfriend was to blame for. But the whatever he was doing is all his responsibility, right? So the whatever he was feeling, it's not his girlfriend is not responsible for it. Maybe she's there to blame her. Because you can blame her that okay, Mark Manson is feeling bad. You can't really say that okay, she's responsible for this feeling, right? Because the how he felt, how he actually deal with this, it's totally up to the Mark Manson. It's not about her. It's not about his cheating ex-girlfriend, right? So after doing a lot of, because after breakup, a lot of guys actually got pumped up to do something different. So he was so much energetic and he did something for his life and he felt better. Then he took some time and realized that he also had some problem. He said that okay, maybe my problem don't justify what she did with him, but still he also had problem. It's not like that he was the only victim. So whatever he did was also problem. He used to ignore her, he used to hurt her, he used to somebody, sometime he used to arrogant to her, and all this thing he did. Then he said that okay, in later relationships he never did this. Okay, so he says that a lot of successes could not teach him great lessons, but this one bad incidents teach him a lot of lessons as well. So he said that. So here's the thing, we all love to take responsibility for success and happiness. Hell, we often fight over who gets to be responsible for our success and happiness, but taking responsibility for our problems is far more important, because that's where the real learning comes from. That's where the real life improvement comes from. To simply blame others is not only to hurt yourself, right? This line is so much important. To simply blame others is only to hurt yourself. So if you blame others or keep blaming others, you are actually hurting yourself. If you blame others, nothing has happened to them. If you say look at this is the person, or this is the government, this is the person, or maybe this is the thing that actually is the responsible or for my misery. If you say this kind of thing, you're blaming others, right? It does not do anything. You just hurt yourself only, okay, by blaming. Take action, be responsible. That's the actual thing. Right? Okay, so we have almost 10 pages, maybe, I guess. Yeah. Yep. 12 pages. Okay, I have time. when I was reading this, I actually write one thing, a question, and it's still valid for me, uh, because I can't really deal with this kind of thing. Just let me know in the comments. I'm just going to read it as it is. How to deal when someone is deeply sad for valid reasons and our values does not match. So when someone is feeling sad for a reason, and we feel that okay, he should not be sad for this, he had choice to not to be sad, what to do in this kind of situation, because that is critical. You can't really go and sympathize with that much as well. I don't know what to do. That is the thing that still is a question in my mind. So let me know in the comments what you think, and it would be great. So what I was reading here is that he brought up the story of the Malala. So she used to live in a Taliban country. They'd never allow girls to go to the school, but Malala was exception. She said that okay, what the hell will you do? She kept going to the school even though they told that okay, no girls can go to the school. She even put it on the online that okay, how dare the Taliban take away my right for education. She put it online. And at the 2012, a masked man went into the school bus, and he asked for who is Malala. If you don't tell, I'm going to shoot each and everyone. So Malala came out, and she said she recognized. She said that she is Malala. And think about it. In this situation, somebody is coming up by their own that hey, I am the one, and they're just carrying all these guns, and you're just a small little kid like 14 years old. That's amazing. And that man shoot Malala on her head, but she somehow survived. She went into the coma, and then after that Malala is still alive. You can Google it, and in 2014 she received the Nobel Prize, Nobel Peace Prize for her efforts as well. And the story is amazing. I really liked this when I Googled it and I read the story, and it was amazing, right? So the point is like, she could have said that okay, I can't do anything, I have no choice, but still she's making her choices, right? She's responsible for these choices, not them, not those Talibans, right? Think about it this way. She maybe could have it was, he's saying that it was easy for her to like lie down and say okay, I can't do anything about it, I have no choice, because they are putting guns on all the girls and these are the things. But she still chose to do something daring. Right? And she actually chose the opposite. So all the things that she did, she was responsible for it. She did not maybe it was a blame from maybe she could have blamed them, but she was responsible for her own choices. Okay, she get shot because she took responsibility. Okay, it was her responsibility, right? Because she went onto the bus. She could be take some different choices as well, right? So that's the same thing. We can take the choices on it's up to us. So you can't really blame. If you just keep blaming someone, this is not going to solve your problem. You just need to take responsibility. Okay. So pain of one sort or other is inevitable for all of us, but we get to choose what it means to and for us. So this is a simple story. Like one day a guy commented on the Mark Manson blog that how can you be so insensitive, you are an asshole maybe. Okay, because recently my my son was dead in an accident. What do you know about pain? What is pain? Do you have any idea about it? So he asked this sort of questions. Here is the thing, but still it does not solve any problem, right? It does not solve any so he thought that okay, he thought first time he felt bad, and then he thought that he also went through pain. So but if he keep talking, if Mark Manson keep talking about his pain about with that guy, that will be totally insensitive, right? Then he thought that okay, see, he actually simply replied that I was sorry for his loss and left it that way, right? Because then he thought that okay, he should practice patience and understanding the reader better. So he kept this thing in mind because it was his job. He chose the better problem, right? When he was writing later times, he used to keep this thing in mind as well. Okay, maybe someone can be dead, maybe someone specials can be dead as well, someone child can be dead as well. So when he talk about pain, he used to be sensitive towards him, or maybe he kept this thing in mind while during writing. It was good. He chose the right problem for him, right? So maybe it's not right problem for us, but he chose the right problem for him. That's the thing. So he's talking about a documentary. I don't know what documentary he talks about, but it was like from the BBC. I did not watch this, but I really need to watch this documentary. It was about OCD, that is obsessive compulsive disorder. I hope you have already know idea about this. I'm just gonna keep it searched. So okay, I searched this thing, and I will be watching this documentary. So yeah, and here's the thing. There was this girl called the Imogen. She was 17 years old, and she had this problem with, like, she have to tap each and every object that when she go through. If she could not tap one object, she used to feel like, okay, her family is going to die. She used to feel that bad feeling with horrible thoughts coming and taking her over, right? It's so bad, right? OCD is like that, and you can't really fix OCDs. That's a really neurological disorders, and you can really change the mindsets and thoughts and beliefs so that people may work with it in a differently, but you can't really fix OCD. There is no way, right? And there was this guy called Josh. He needed to do so he needed to do like both sides of his body, right? Shake a person's hands with both his right and left his hand. Okay, eat his food with each hand, step through a doorway with both feet, and so on. right. So maybe, so he needs to use all of his side while doing something. Maybe maybe he's shaking someone hands, he needs to use both of his hand. Maybe he's entering a room, he needs to jump with that, because her legs his legs could go together. So this is the problem. Yeah. And there was this guy, he has this problem of germophobia. A lot of guys actually, a lot of people actually have this. So he used to sanitize each and everything, like otherwise he used to get like panic attacks, right? So these are the things. So but psychiatrist, how they solve it, like what they did is, like with the Imogen's case, the psychiatrist told them ki maybe you could not tap a surface. When a thought of your parents dying comes to your mind, accept that your parents are maybe going to die. Okay, you don't need to just forget about this feeling or try to forget this feeling. Accept that your parents are going to die somehow, even if it comes. And the germophobia guy, they told that ki you, no matter what you do, the germs are going to be everywhere, and you are going to eat germs each and every time that you put your hand or anything in your mouth, right? So germs are going to be each and everywhere, right? You can't really solve that problem. So they are not taking away from saying that okay, this thing does not have germ, you can eat that. And if you just want sanitize your hand, you can eat that. They are not saying that. They are saying that whatever you do, germs are going to be always there. You need to accept this thing. Okay. But after the documentary, he said that all the people were like fixing, but they were not like the 100% cured. But the thing is that she said that for the Imogen's case, she said that the monsters are still there out there in her back, but she don't they are getting weaker. Okay. So they then say they can't really overtake her so much. And that guy who has this germophobia thing, he used to now go to the restaurants and eat drink water from the bottle without cleaning the bottle first. So these are the things that happened. And yeah, and that guy actually told that I did not choose my crappy genetics, so it's my fault. Of no, not this one. What is this? Okay. Yeah, I did not choose this life. I did not choose this horrible condition, but I get to choose how to live with it. I have to choose how to live with it, right? So he has no choice. He have to choose how to actually live with it, right? So it is in his control that how you actually deal with this kind of thing. Yeah, great. Here's the thing, some people who born with deformity, maybe they have some problem with OCD, whatever the problems that they have, maybe from birth, maybe that happened after or later. They may say that okay, that is not my fault, and obviously it is not their fault, but it is their responsibility that what they do with it, right? So it's totally true. Here's the thing, and it's true, it's not their fault, but it's still their responsibility, right? Yeah. So Mark Manson used to play poker, and he learned a really nice lesson for that. He says that each and everyone is dealt cards, and sometimes he saw that people who actually are dealt great cards, let me just if you don't understand the poker, let me just use the layman term here. If you get good cards means you have the higher chances of winning. But Mark Manson says that maybe you have the higher chances of winning, that does not mean that you are going to win. It's all about the choices that you make that will actually make you a winner. So even if someone who don't have the good cards, he has the lower, very very lower chances of winning, even he can win as well. It totally depends upon the choices that you both or the others are making, right? So here's the thing, I see in life the same terms. We all get dealt cards. Some of us get better cards than others, right? Obviously some of us are privileged already and some of us are not, right? It's obvious. And while it's easy to get hung up on our cards and feel we got screwed over, the real game lies in the choices we make with those cards. It's all about the choices that we make. Even if you don't know, a lot of there is a guy called Eamon Hemant on the YouTube. He started with his friends. He started his YouTube career with his friend's phone, with his mother's phone, which actually was given by Indian government to his mother. That smartphone he actually used to put up on a lot of stacks of something, and he used to make videos on that, a lot of motivational videos sometimes. But here is the thing, he has started and he did not stop. All the choices that he make today is gave him like 1 million subscribers. So that's the thing. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I think he has almost 100k subscriber. Maybe it's not. Is it 1 million? No, it's not 1 million. It's 100k. He has 100k subscribers. So let me just refresh this. Yeah. So is a good name. If you search on Eamon Hemant, you will find it. He's a very nice guy, and yeah. So that's the thing. So he's taking that maybe our lives are different from others. Maybe we are privileged, maybe we are not, but it totally depends upon what our life will be. It's all about that what we do with all the things that we already have, right? So it's totally up to you. So you can't really blame and say, okay, this is the fault of my parents, this is the fault of the society. It's not like that. You are responsible for it. You can blame them anytime, every day, but take responsibility. Okay. So he's saying that it's all about the victimhood. So victimhood, it's like whenever we are we feel a problem is there, we try to victimize ourselves, and we try to give this blame to others, and we say that okay, we are the victim here. So this really happens, and he says that it's media is there actually encourages this kind of reaction. Now I have a question here to the Mark Manson. I know nobody's listening, nobody's even viewing this video, but still this question comes to my mind. If we are saying that okay, media is responsible for this, aren't we actually blaming media for this? Anyways, so he says that the writer and media commentator Ryan Holiday. So Ryan Holiday is this amazing author. I just keep hearing his name over and over. I have actually ordered one of his book as well, and I don't know why this book is not coming still. It was supposed to come on the 23rd November, and I think it's 27th today. So still it's not. I don't know what happened to that book. It is Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. If you have read this book, I highly recommend that you just comment. Please let me know how this book is. And the book he is actually referring to, this by Ryan Holiday, is actually there is a book from the Ryan Holiday. It was, I forgot the book. I will link it on the description of this video if I find it. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we actually here is one thing that I agree with is like we feel when we read something in the internet, when we read a book, when we don't actually align, we think that okay, our values don't align with it, we feel bad. Okay, and we feel that okay, we need to keep our put our outrage to it, and we say whatever the things that we need to we feel like okay, that is the guy or girl who is is to be blamed for because they made some content like this. We feel this outrage every time. Okay. because we feel like victims in that case. Here's the thing, the part of living in a democracy and a free society is that we all have to deal with views and people we don't necessarily like. They're simply the price we pay. You could even say it's the whole point of the system, and it seems more and more people are forgetting that. Okay, so living in a democracy, we always say that okay, we are a democracy, but here's the thing, when you are in a democracy, you need to accept, even if you don't accept, you need to listen to others' views and what people have to say, even if you don't like it, right? That is the price you pay when you become a part of the democracy. And if you don't like this, you become a part of somewhere where the dictatorship works, right? So you don't need to be a part of the democracy. Okay, but here's the point, I really agree with that. A lot of people are actually forgetting that they actually live in a democracy. They feel like okay, how they can say this kind of thing, how he can do that, how he can say specific things to specific community. Okay, so it is a democracy. That's the price you pay for it, right? So people has their own view and they can express it. Now let me know about this, what you think about it, because I may be wrong in this case as well, right? So just let me say whatever you have to say, so my thinking gets clarified as well, right? So here is the thing, he's saying that what if people just ask him that what they can do to actually solve this problem, right? Like he's saying that there is no how. Okay, so he says that if let's look at some of the side effects. So you are going to feel uncertain. I get it. Okay, now if you give up your values, so these are the things that will happen. Giving up a value you have depended on for years is going to feel disorienting, and as if you don't really know right from wrong anymore. This is hard, but it's normal. So if someone says that, okay, if you're thinking about it this way, just think about it other way. Okay, but maybe you have depended on this value for your entire lifetime. How can you think about it in a different way? That has some side effects as well. Like, you're going to first feel that, okay, whether you're doing it, whether it is right or not, because it does not align with your value. Sometimes this may happen to you. Maybe you felt like, okay, I should think about it in a different way, but you felt that, okay, what the hell I'm doing? Am I doing the correct thing here? So these are all your values that is actually interfering with you, right? Next, you will feel like a failure. You have spent half of your life measuring yourself by that old value. So when you change your priorities, change your metrics, and stop behaving in the same way, you will fail to meet that old trusted metric, and thus immediately feel like some sort of fraud or nobody. That is normal and also uncomfortable. So when you change your values like this, just like that, okay, if you think that, okay, I will not give a fuck about anything. I will not give a fuck about this. I will give a fuck about something else. Then you feel bad obviously, right? Yeah. And yeah, that's a very important thing. And certainly you will wither rejections. Many of the relationships in your life were built around those values. Though people are still with you, people who actually communicate more with you, people who are close to you, it's because your values aligns with those people, right? And maybe your mother is still talking to you, maybe your father is still with you, maybe even if your values don't align, but most of the people in your life are there because you have some certain values, and they have some certain values, and they goes parallelly, and you guys enjoy that thing, right? So that's why those people are there. But the moment you change your values, there are going to be some excuse me, there is going to be some consequences, and that is the thing he's talking about. Many of the relationships in your life were built around the values you have been keeping. So the moment you change those values, the moment you decide that studying is more important than partying, that getting married and having a family is more important than rampant sex, that working a job you believe in is more important than money, your turnaround will reverberate out through your relationships, and many of them will blow up in your face. This is too normal, and this too will be uncomfortable. Suppose you are in a job and you are saying that, okay, whatever the job I'm doing, maybe my parents are also happy with that. Now suddenly I say that, okay, I will not do the job. I will do my thing. That I will do my own thing. That value will not align with my parents' value, and then they are going to retreat. I would say they're going to say, okay, what the hell are you doing? You should not do this kind of stuff, right? Okay, this is totally dangerous, whatever you're doing. Okay, this kind of thing happens, and this is the example that he's giving. He's also saying that it is normal, and yeah, it is normal. It is going to happen, and you also know that, right? So the moment you change your values, people are going to turn around. Okay, say, what the hell are you doing? Right? These are necessary though. These are necessary though painful side effects of choosing to place your fucks elsewhere. So I'm giving fucks to somewhere else. Maybe so there's an example that I'm giving. A guy maybe is giving a fuck to his own job currently. Now suddenly he says that, okay, I will not do this job anymore. I will do something my own. I will be an entrepreneur. Okay, I give a fuck on that entrepreneurship, not this job. And suddenly his values change. That is going to be a painful for the people that is connected with you. They are going to say, what the hell are you doing, right? And they're going to say, kind of like retreat. Your parents are going to retreat. Okay, these things will happen. And he says that this is the side effects of choosing to place your fucks elsewhere, in a place far more important and more worthy of your energies, right? As you recess your values, you will be met with internal and external resistance along the way. Yes, there will be internal and external resistance. Whereas external will be like, maybe your parents say that, please don't leave that job, don't leave that. That is very bad for your future. That is not going to work out really right. It is going to be very bad for the overall growth of yours. Okay, that is maybe external. Maybe your relatives also saying that. Maybe your friends are also saying that. Okay, This is just an example. This can be anything, right? And there will be some internal resistance as well, like what the hell I'm doing, is what the thing I'm doing, whether it is right or not. Maybe because 25 of or 26 years of that lifetime, that guy thought that okay, I will be doing a job, I will be I will be on a job, and I will be doing this all this kind of thing. I will get married, then I will have babies, then I will die. Maybe this is all the values that he had, but suddenly he changed his values. So internal resistance will be there as well. What the hell I'm doing? Okay, whether I'm doing it, whether it is correct or not. These are the thoughts that are going to come to the mind. Okay. So more than anything, you will feel uncertain. Obviously, you're going to feel uncertain. Okay, whatever the things I'm doing, whether it's going to work out or not, because you're not going to be sure, right? Okay, if I go into the startup, if I make a startup of my own, what if it is fails, whether I'm doing the thing is correct or not, uncertainty will be there in your mind, because you change your values, right? These are not the things that you are born from the childhood, that okay, I want to be an entrepreneur. Then that won't be a problem. He's talking about suddenly changing the values, right? Okay. If you will wonder if what you're doing is wrong, right? Yes, the people who actually become entrepreneur, they don't think about okay, it's a wrong thing or anything like that. They feel that okay, I will be an entrepreneur and I will not do anything, any job after my college is done, because I have started my own business, started something doing in the part time as well. So they have this thing set in their mind. They don't feel anything wrong. But suddenly when you're doing a job for like 20 maybe 10 years or 15 years, they suddenly think that okay, I will be doing something else, this job is not for me, I will be doing something else, and there will be internal and external resistance. That's the thing he's talking about. So yeah, but as we will see, this is a good thing. Okay, we will see in the next chapter. So with that, we have completed the chapter 5, and I really like this chapter because the first thing I really liked is like there will be always an internal external resistance whenever we change our values, and it is normal, right? And it is normal. Okay, and we need to take responsibility for whatever the things that happens to us. And the same third thing is like fault and responsibility are not same. Fault is the thing that we did in the past. Okay, that is the fault. Okay, and the responsibility is whatever we do in the present moment, each and every choices that we make. That is the thing. Okay, the first thing is this one that I have talked about, like whatever the things that the internal and external resistance will come whenever we change our values. And yeah, we actually take responsibility for what we do, and the fact and the fault and the responsibility is not same. So that was second, and the fault and the responsibility is not the same. That is third. Okay, anyways, with that we have completed the chapter 5, and I will be taking notes after 1 hour, actually 1 or 2 hour I actually take notes. I was thinking about going live with that note taking as well, but then I thought okay, I should not do this, because then I will be like restricted to a specific time of actually going live for this note taking, and maybe that will be a hassle for me, because note taking is I don't want any hassle before note taking, right? I just want to take pull up my phone, if I whatever the situation is, I just want to pull up my note taking application. I just want to write notes. Yeah, with that thing, we have completed the chapter 5, and I hope you guys are doing well. And that was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. I'm using so much of this word F today, so I hope these videos show up in the YouTube and Facebook, and I don't know, maybe hope somebody don't flag it. So thank you so much.